What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. DJ Reacts. We've got an absolute banger today for you. It's my birthday, December 13th. Working for you guys. I'm not out partying. Well, I'm having dinner later. Out here working for you guys. I got some special stuff I want to put up. Remember, we're building on this, right? So there's a flow to it. And I want you guys to stick with me on it. And put it in the comments if you're not feeling it. If you want something else, let me know. But this is kind of important. Not kind of. This is very important. This is something people aren't putting out there. So go ahead, do me that one favor. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. We need to get this out there to as many people as we can. Awareness is our big power. The more people we can make aware, the more people that are waking up. It's beautiful that so many people are already waking up. But also, people are telling me I'm being shadow banned because of my content. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not the only one putting out this kind of content. I think I am the only one with actual experience with this kind of content, for as long as I've researched and studied it and actually physically gone to these places, over 30 countries. So, but there's a few people doing it that I really respect. So anyways, let's get into it. I think you guys are going to love this.
Hydrogen lengthens telomeres, but in cancer cells, it shortens telomere length.
And why that's important for people is telomere length is what keeps you feeling and looking young. It's basically your body remembering that which it did at age 26. You can grow back your telomeres, but there's a certain length. You can't get it any longer. It's not like hair, it just keeps growing. And it's a certain length, and you want to keep it as long, and you want to keep it in that length for as long as possible.
Remember that word, telomere, Telomere. These are the pieces in your DNA, and you'll notice that in the Bible, when they say, God shortened the age of man to 120 years, that is physically seen by scientists. Scientists can look at our DNA and say, hey, these telomeres were actually spliced and cut to be shortened. You can look at it and tell because the other ones have no cuts, but ours do not go past that. But you can tell that they used to, meaning we used to live a lot longer. This is not conspiracy theory or anything. This is factual science. So just remember that word.
So if you didn't know, telomere length shortening is associated with aging, but it's also been implicated in chronic stress, depression, and cancer cell growth. But a study published in Nature in 2020 showed that long-term meditators have increased telomere length and changes in DNA methylation patterns. And DNA methylation is one thing that causes epigenetic changes in gene expression. Long story short, meditation could increase your lifespan. So if you didn't know,
studies show that there are 5 things we can do to increase our telomerase, which is the enzyme that lengthens our telomeres that is directly linked to stress and aging. The first is contentment. Living a life of contentment means being kind, giving, caring, having compassion and understanding for others lengthens your telomerase. Studies also show avoiding chronic stress. Meditation, for example, a great stress remover, increased the telomerase by 30% in one study and 43% in another. Moderate exercise 3 times a week for 45 minutes doubled the telomerase. Eating whole, organic, recognizable foods, including foods that are high in omega-3 fatty acids, increase the telomerase. And finally, getting really good, healthy sleep. Deep sleep has been shown to increase telomerase and lengthen your telomeres. To learn more about the science behind this, go to my website at lifespy.com or get the link in the description.
Now remember what he said. He's talking about all of these free things that lengthen your telomerase. Meditation. Do me a favor. Guess my age in the comments. I do meditate. I don't do it as often as I should, but I meditate better than most people. If you meditate in the sun, there's a very big difference than I don't meditate inside. That's one thing I don't do. I don't meditate inside of a building, a house, anything. I'm outside when I meditate. I can meditate to where if I'm in the sun, within a minute I blast off and I'm gone. And I've done it to the point to like this time of year, I'll blast off and then at like 4 o'clock, and then 2.5 hours later the temperatures drop down from like 70 to 42, and I come back and I'm just shivering. I've been gone so long. But I've been doing it since I was a child, off and on. I don't do it consistently. I'm not going to sit here and claim, oh yeah, I do it every day, you know. No, I don't, but I try to do it many times a week as much as I can. Even if I can only get 5 minutes in, I'll do that. So, you know, that's my truth. I don't know about everybody else.
Maybe you know someone who's 50 who looks 25. Maybe you know someone who's 25 who looks 50. And you say, well, that's their DNA. Yes, but here's the best news I could ever give you. It is possible to rewrite your own DNA code. You can't change the genes that you were given. That's how you came out of the gene pool. But you can alter the way they express themselves, the way they turn themselves off and on. That happens in your environment. Exercise is known to lengthen your telomeres. Your telomeres are the little things, they look like shoelace aglets on the ends of your DNA strands. The shorter they get, the older you get, and when they're gone, you're gone. So you want to keep your telomeres long and healthy. Studies show that exercise absolutely affects the length of your telomeres. Studies also show that vitamin C helps to repair cell damage. Love you.
Okay, so this is a
After all,
this is a big thing I want to put out there. I want you guys to understand that your DNA was changed. It was purposefully altered a long time ago. So I want to get that in your heads while we're doing this. That's one of the main points of me doing this.
for all the effort you put in, why do you still age faster than your peers? It's because your peers are lengthening their telomere. I have mentioned the length of your telomere is connected to the speed of aging. The shorter your telomere, the faster you age. So if you want to stay young, you have to stimulate the production of telomerase. After doing lots of research, I have summed up 3 methods to lengthen your telomere. The second one is even free of cost. First is hyperbaric oxygen therapy. A report was released by Israeli scientist Shai Efrati on aging. He recruited 35 elderly aged 64 for his experiment. Every week they would do this therapy 5 times, and as a result the length of their telomere increased 20% to 37%, and the aging of their cells reduced 11%. The second method is power walking, concluded from a research by the University of Leicester. Through comparing the pace and length of telomere in white blood cells of 405,981 participants, they discovered that those who walk faster have significantly longer telomeres. Third is taking nutrients that is good for telomere, like NAN. These are materials for NAD+, and other nutrients, such as omega-3. These are proven to affect telomerase and lengthen telomere in researchers. Of course, there are more ongoing experiments to prove this connection. Your daily diet can also affect the length of telomere.
Okay, so I do take NAD plus on a daily basis. I take a few different things on a daily basis. So it's not something that's new, but NAD plus is good for you. There's no point in getting this 2 separate things when you could just buy NAD plus. But source it out from a reputable place. You know, do not go to Walmart or CVS and buy it. Find an actual reputable place that has quality products, because I take that every day. I have for a while, but you know, it's up to you, but I'm just putting it out there.
Called rhesus factor because it was first discovered in the blood of rhesus monkeys. There are 612 primate species and subspecies recognized by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the IUCN, and not one has Rh negative blood. If mankind evolved from the same African ancestor, their blood would be compatible, but it's not. Nearly 85% of all human beings have Rh positive blood, yet all royal families have Rh negative blood. Where did the Rh negatives come from? Why does the body of an Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive child reject her own offspring?
I received an email from a person who wants to remain anonymous, and this is what he said to me. He is a geneticist, a full-blown geneticist. And he says, "Dear Mr. Pi, I agree with your conclusions and will give you a few hints, if you wish, as a DNA deep throat. First, look up the huge discontinuities between man and the various apes for whole mitochondrial DNA, genes for the Rh factor, and human Y chromosomes, among others. Regarding number 3, the chromosomes, I refer you to K.D. Smith's 1987 study titled Repeated DNA Sequences of the Human Y Chromosome. It says most human Y chromosome sequences so far examined do not have homologs, which are similar sequences, on the Y chromosomes of other primates. Human female DNA does look somewhat ape-like, but not the male Y. This means that if we are a crossbred hybrid species, as you contend, meaning me, the cross had to be between a female ape-like creature, a creature of the earth, as the Sumerians said, and a male person from elsewhere, as I also contend."
Okay, so that was not kind of, I gotta stop saying kind of. That was important. I'm Rh negative. I only know that because 8 to 10 years ago, I was hit with a terminal illness that I was basically given a death sentence for, and it wasn't cancer, but I was at the Cancer Institute. There's no cure for it. Doctors can only treat the symptoms, but they can't treat what it actually is. And they said it was a genetic condition, and that's how they ran. I was in there 4 days a week, giving blood, having lab work done. So yeah, I'm Rh negative. And the truth is, the same is true for the reversal. So if an Rh positive woman has an Rh negative baby that is impregnated with an Rh negative child, that Rh negative child kill the host. So, but there's an area in Spain up on the Alpine Mountains, very close to where I'm from, and the people there, they look kind of like me, a bit fair skinned, but darker features, and that's where the majority of the Rh negative people on this planet are. Is that little village area in Spain, so. But yeah, that's true. The Rh negative gene, it will eat through the host. It'll kill the host. It's not going to allow, because what it does is it takes too much. The fetus takes too much from the mother, and the mother doesn't have enough to give. And so they both end up unaliving during childbirth. So yeah, it's a very serious thing. So ask me if I'm not going to get that, but no, I'm not trying to go down that route. Don't want to hurt anybody, but yeah, Rh negative. Some people were. It came out as a conspiracy theory because people are saying, okay, and it's more than 85%, it's more like 94% of people are Rh positive, which comes from the rhesus monkey. So they're saying that, females came from the rhesus monkey. So females have that, well, males too now, but originally it was just females had that Rh positive rhesus monkey. They're saying the people that are Rh negative, where did they come from? Because their bloodline isn't like anything else, on the planet, not like the rest of the planet. So it was a big conspiracy theory. I don't know. I really don't know. But I can't tell you for fact if all royals are Rh negative. I've never sampled their blood, obviously, so I'm not going to sit here and say that. But I do know it's a rare thing. Scientists don't understand how it came about or why the telomeres have been cut down so low and they stay like that. But in way distant past, they were much longer. So they can't explain that either. So it's just something to think about. That's all I'm putting out there.
There's a place in India that rewrites everything we think about ancient cultures in that part of the world. This was built around 50 BC and is situated in a remote crack on top of a mountain. A huge part of the hillside has been carved, removed, and designed to such a degree of accuracy and expertise. It's not only baffled historians, but it's becoming the benchmark case for advanced ancient technology in the region. This is Kailasa Temple. It's the largest monolithic structure in the world, carved from a single piece of stone around 70 BC. This temple often gets overlooked by sites such as the Giza Pyramids, Stonehenge, and the Mexican Sun Pyramid, but this was most likely humanity's greatest achievement. Mainstream archaeology claims this was made using iron hammers and chisels, but for those with eyes to see, we know that would have been impossible. Where is the 400,000 tons of excavated bedrock if hammers and chisels were used? Remember, this is just one of the temples from a total of 34. It's estimated 3 million cubic meters of excavated rock is missing. Enough to build the Great Pyramid of Giza and still have 1 million cubic meters left. It is clear they are hiding something. An advanced technology was used here, of which we cannot even fathom. This is one of many examples of the incredible skill level. You could not carve these two buildings separately, and then add a bridge after. No external rocks were used at all. Kailasa Temple is still a mystery to this day, but this technology will resurface one day. I'm sure of it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. Follow at Mike Priest ARR for truth and alternative news. There's a place in...
That is just amazing. That's phenomenal. I've been to India, but I haven't been to any of that. I would love to go see that. You can just look at the scale of that and the detail. There's no you have to. This is why I'm glad people are waking up, because people are waking up now, and like myself and like most of you that are watching, we look at this and we say, yeah, it wasn't a bunch of people that were hunter-gatherers with a hammer and a chisel that did this. You know, the engineering and the planning that you would have to do to actually dig down and actually excavate all of this as you actually get all the rock out, excavate everything, and then measure everything to be so precise on your way down that way, instead of just carving it out of pieces, doing it all in one go like that. The engineering behind that, we could not do that today. We don't have the technology to do that today. We don't have the skill set to do that today. You could take the best workers in the world that know how to carve stone and marble and granite and all of these things, and they would fail miserably. They've tried it with just the pyramids, and this is much more complex than the pyramids.
Is Mars really what they're telling us it is?
Known as Mars is not a spherical terra firma world millions of miles away, capable of landing a rover on. All of the so-called planets were known to the ancients as wandering stars, because they differ from the fixed stars in their relative motions only. To them, stars were not spherical worlds millions of miles away, or suns trillions of miles away, as we are brainwashed to believe they are today. Stars were and are simply luminaries, immaterial lights in the sky, several thousand, not millions, of miles away, that revolve over and around the Earth. The Masonic magicians at NASA and the other world space agencies, using lying actor-nauts and Hollywood tricks like green screens, wires, harnesses, and endless amounts of CGI images, through pseudoscience books and programs, mass media and public education, universities and government propaganda, have systematically indoctrinated the entire world into believing what is nothing but an elaborate piece of science fiction. As you can clearly see for yourself with a bit of research, a telescope or high-zoom camera, and an open, discerning mind actually honestly admitting to yourself what is and what isn't a CGI, computer-generated image, it is obvious that the light in the sky known as Mars is not some science fiction desert planet millions of miles away. The CGI images NASA shows of a spherical world are clearly and admittedly not photographs, and look nothing like Mars when seen through a telescope. Meanwhile, the actual photographs NASA claims are coming from this completely other world look exactly like they are coming from Devon Island, Canada, with a red tint added in post-processing. There is nothing being shown in NASA's photographs of Mars that cannot easily be faked on Earth, and given the lack of skepticism or scrutiny from the gullible masses, they barely have to fake any evidence too. Just give them a computer screen of a CGI parachute with a CGI rover landing on a CGI Mars, and film a bunch of compartmentalized NASA 20-something employees straight out of space camp getting giddy and high-fiving each other, and that is literally all it takes.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and follow at Mike Priest ARR for more content like this. The reality of our favorite food. Part 1.
Hot dogs are a staple at summer cookouts and sporting events, but their production process might leave you feeling queasy. Similar to chicken nuggets, hot dogs are made using mechanically separated meat, which can include pork, beef, and chicken. This process involves grinding and blending various animal parts, such as skin, fat, and even organs, to create a smooth paste. After the paste is mixed with water, starch, and various additives, it is then seasoned with salt, spices, and preservatives. Some hot dogs also contain sodium nitrite, a chemical used to preserve the color and extend the shelf life of the product, but which has been linked to an increased risk of certain types of cancer. The hot dog mixture is then stuffed into casings, which are traditionally made from the cleaned intestines of animals, although synthetic casings are increasingly common. The filled casings are cooked, cooled, and packaged for sale. The use of low-quality meat, high sodium content, and the presence of potentially harmful additives make hot dogs a less than ideal food choice. Additionally, the environmental and ethical concerns associated with factory farming contribute to the reasons why some people may avoid consuming hot dogs after learning how they are made. Number 3. Processed cheese. Processed cheese, also known as cheese product or cheese food, is a popular choice for its affordability, long shelf life, and melting capabilities. However, the manufacturing process and ingredients used in its creation may make you reconsider your next grilled cheese sandwich. Processed cheese begins with a base of real cheese made from dairy products. The cheese is then melted and combined with emulsifiers, stabilizers, preservatives, and other additives to create a homogeneous mixture. Some of the most common additives in processed cheese include sodium phosphate, which acts as an emulsifying agent, and sodium citrate, which helps maintain the smooth texture. Artificial colors are also added to give the cheese a consistent, visually appealing hue. Once mixed, the cheese is pasteurized to extend its shelf life further, and then poured into molds or processed into slices, blocks, or other forms. The addition of emulsifiers, stabilizers, and artificial colors means that processed cheese often contains a significantly lower percentage of real cheese than its natural counterparts. Moreover, the high sodium content and presence of additives can contribute to a variety of health concerns, such as increased blood pressure and potential allergic reactions. In addition to health issues, the environmental impact of dairy farming, including high water usage and greenhouse gas emissions, is another reason to reconsider processed cheese consumption. Consumers seeking a more wholesome and eco-friendly alternative might opt for natural cheese from sustainable sources or plant-based alternatives. Marshmallows, a beloved treat for campfires and hot cocoa, might lose their appeal when you learn about the key ingredient used in their production: gelatin. Gelatin is a protein derived from the collagen found in animal skin, bones, and connective tissues, most commonly from cows and pigs. To extract the gelatin, these animal parts are boiled, treated with acid or alkali, and then filtered to create a clear, tasteless substance. To make marshmallows, gelatin is combined with sugar, corn syrup, water, and flavorings, such as vanilla. The mixture is then whipped to create a light, fluffy texture before being poured into molds, cooled and dusted with a mixture of cornstarch and powdered sugar to prevent sticking. The use of gelatin in marshmallows raises ethical concerns for vegetarians, vegans, and those who follow religious dietary restrictions such as kosher or halal. Additionally, the factory farming practices used to obtain the animal parts for gelatin production contribute to environmental and animal welfare issues. For a more ethical and environmentally friendly alternative, consumers can seek out gelatin-free marshmallows made with plant-based ingredients, such as agar-agar or carrageenan. Number 7. Margarine. Margarine, a popular butter substitute, has a manufacturing process and ingredient list that might make some consumers think twice. Margarine is made primarily from vegetable oils such as soybean, canola, or palm oil, which are initially liquid at room temperature. To create a solid, spreadable product, these oils undergo a process called hydrogenation, during which hydrogen molecules are added to the oil, changing its molecular structure and increasing its saturation level. Partial hydrogenation can lead to the formation of trans fats, which have been linked to an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Although many margarine manufacturers have switched to alternative methods, such as intraesterification, to reduce or eliminate trans fats, concerns about the health effects of these processes and their byproducts still exist. Margarine also contains various additives, such as emulsifiers, preservatives, and artificial colors, to improve its taste, texture, and appearance. Some margarines are fortified with vitamins, such as vitamin A and D, to mimic the nutritional content of butter. In addition to the health concerns associated with margarine, the environmental impact of the production of its primary ingredient, vegetable oil, is considerable. Palm oil, in particular, is a leading cause of deforestation, habitat destruction, and greenhouse gas emissions. Consumers looking for a more healthful and eco-friendly alternative might consider using butter from grass-fed cows or plant-based spreads.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and follow at Mike Priest ARR for more content like this.
So, I know you guys heard that. Watch what you eat. If you want to truly know, I don't eat any of that stuff. When I first came to this country, in Europe, you don't have to go natural or go vegan. We don't have the crap you guys have. It's not allowed. They care about their people, to that extent at least. So when I came here, I had a big problem with the food because I knew what chicken tastes like. I knew what cheese was. I used to be at a delicatessen all the time, or deli, so, but yeah, the food here is you have to rearrange how you eat and take the time to actually go somewhere that supports smaller businesses where they take the time to actually produce a good natural product. It might be a little bit higher than what you're used to, but it's much better for your body. Trust me. And I don't think anyone out there wants their family crap that's just going to cause them illnesses that make them have to go to the doctor, that to then get put on medication, which all have side effects, which make them have to go back to the doctor to get more medications to counter the side effects. Then they're eating all these foods, and it's just an endless cycle. I don't eat any of that. I make sure it takes me time when I shop. If I'm doing grocery shopping, a few times a month, each time is going to take me a couple of hours because I look at the ingredients, I look at the stuff, so, and I'm not going to sit here and eat any kind of crap. I don't eat any fast food whatsoever. I don't buy any of this BS butter, or margarine, or cheese. I don't eat it. I pay the money for the better stuff. But also, I'm not a glutton. I don't eat 3 meals a day. I don't stuff my face all day with crap either, or with good stuff. I don't do that either. I wouldn't stuff my face. I don't eat like that. I eat for my body. I eat what my body's telling me I need to have. I don't just get up and eat. I don't eat breakfast. I don't sit there and wake up the first thing in the morning and eat. You're not supposed to break your fast as soon as you wake up. Break your fast around noon. You know, there used to be all kinds of traditions around this, but your breakfast or breaking your fast is supposed to happen when the sun is closest and highest in the sky. You know, that's when that's supposed to happen. You don't just wake up first thing in the morning. And if you're a coffee drinker, I used to be a heavy coffee drinker. When I say heavy, I'm talking about I'd have a 12 cup auto, and I was also a coffee connoisseur, so my coffee came from all over the world. But I would have a 12 cup pot of coffee that auto starts, you know, at 5:30. And so when I wake up, first thing I smell is that coffee. Get me a big cup of it, and then, you know, I'm watching the sunrise, you know, just getting my mind into things, and then I go shower, get dressed, get another, fill my mug up so I can go to work. And I've got a big mug, and I'm drinking that. Then I get to work, and I might have some more coffee there, but it's a lot of coffee. The effects of coffee weren't working on me whatsoever. Just drinking coffee because I was so used to drinking it, but it dehydrated me a lot, and you know, it actually started to make me ill because I wouldn't, you know, I didn't have time to eat, so I would just drink coffee. And I quit drinking coffee after noon because if I was still drinking coffee by 2 or 3, I couldn't get any sleep because all of the caffeine. Now I don't drink coffee at all, but I do drink one amazing product, and it's all natural and it's all mushrooms. And so, you know, it's called mud water. You know, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but that's what I drink, and it's all. And the guy that invented it in California had the same problem. He was in that whole SiliconValley.com craze, and they were all drinking coffee all the time. And you know, he noticed it wasn't working on him. It was actually hurting him because you're drinking so much because the effects wear off. So you have to drink so much more to get any kind of small effect. And he invented that. You know, I probably shouldn't plug him because I'm not sponsored or anything, but you know, that's what I drink. I love their product. It's a quality product. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's great. But you can do the same thing with cold water. Wake up in the morning, fix yourself an 8-ounce glass of ice cold water. Drink that down. Same exact effects on your body as coffee. So you don't even have to buy mud water. You can do it tomorrow if you wanted to. Ice cold water, first thing when you get up, does the same thing as coffee. Just wanted to throw that out there to you.
What's crazier than flat Earth? That's the craziest. Yeah, that's the craziest thing. It really is. It's really not though, but it is. You know, people kept coming up to me, have you looked into flat Earth? I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're crazy. Yeah, I'm about a 1 on that one. I think the Earth is round. I think we went to the moon.
I don't believe the Earth is flat at all. I think I can disprove flat Earth.
That's the typical story. Everyone's trying to debunk it.
The world is not flat.
The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
The Earth is flat.
That's fucking insane. The Earth isn't flat.
I was violently opposed to it. I was mad at people that would bring it up.
There's no fucking way the Earth is flat.
A friend of mine was posting all these things on Facebook. It was pissing me off. You know, I was like, what the fuck? Is he fucking with me?
God, this is a fucking nightmare. I can't be a flat Earth person.
I like flat earthers. That means they think for themselves. And they're skeptical.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
So the only problem with the flat Earth rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it, is it's kind of hard to beat.
God damn it! The Earth is clearly not a fucking spinning ball.
Started going into the research, and boom!
Oh, fucking
unbelievable! Like.
How the fuck are we supposed to handle all of this?
There's nothing compares. Nothing compares to the whole quote-unquote flat Earth research rabbit hole. And then I remember feeling kind of sad because I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to have my mind blown this hard ever again. Because there's nothing more mind-blowing than realizing that we've been lied to the point where we don't even know where we are. I can't think of any other experience topping that.
This can't be reality.
Needs to sink in for people to see this in the big picture. Because the perspective of what we've been taught and how Truman-y this Truman Show really is vital to us fighting this. It is.
You have to know what game you're playing in order to fight it, right?
To fathom the reality is so terrifying to most people that they just can't do it. Like there's some sort of mental block. It's like you either got to believe the official story as it's told, or you have to believe that like all of these trusted networks are in it together. There's some sort of massive conspiracy. It goes all the way to the top. And that idea is so horrifying that people just reject it outright. I mean, these people and their ability to control the minds of the masses is admirable, if not completely evil. This entire establishment, this entire corrupt structure relies on mindless, unquestioning obedience. And it might not seem like that, but in reality, they keep you in a very confined mental state where you can't break out of that until someone like Alex Sainz shows up, like the woman from the 1984 commercial in Apple, and just throws the hammer through the screen and shatters the reality and hopefully shakes you out of this delusion that you're trapped in, this coma that you're asleep in.
Not enough people question the reality in which we live in. I just want you to ask the questions that are right in front of you. I want to try to address the elephant that is in the room that, we constantly ignore.
Flat earthers get banned on YouTube.
Why are they banning it?
If they hide it, somebody's trying to cover something up.
Absolutely, because if it was so ridiculous, then they would allow the counter narrative and they would allow discourse and discussion.
Why would they do that? Why, Alex? Why would they do that?
Because Google cares about us.
Alex.
Exactly.
So is space fake? Is there even space?
So fake.
So fake.
Do they think we're stupid?
It's like Santa Claus for adults.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist.
It's just laughable.
But on good authority, that space is fake, so...
Really? Really?
Whatever math that we have for the current size and shape of the Earth has been proven wrong. I mean, it's been proven wrong. You can't deny it. That's just, in my opinion, a fact.
NASA resumes they receive to work there, it's like, are you proficient in Photoshop? What?
Everything that comes out of NASA is fake.
It's all fake, I think. I mean, kind of like space.
NASA's in the business of faking everything.
You denying space? A little bit. A little bit.
And that's normal. Everybody that's into flat Earth, it was very hard for them to get into it and admit it. It took like a year and a half for them to admit it.
I've never seen a former flat earther. Nobody's ever seen what the actual shape of the Earth is and then been like, you know what? Neil deGrasse Tyson really does give me a good argument because it's literally ridiculous.
And when you study history and this dark art stuff, you realize that this long con has happened for a very long time to teach everybody what is up is down.
Nobody is upside down. That's one of the dumbest things you morons say.
It's that intrinsic direction of down caused by gravity.
What's the difference? What's down on a globe?
The entire point of the Copernicus system that is being utilized now is to try to prove there is no up, there is no down, there is no heaven above, there is no nothing. There's no right, there's no wrong.
What's the difference? What's down on a globe?
There is no up or down.
It's all just a con. It's all just a play they're putting on.
And everyone believes it.
Time you think Greg Reese can't top himself, he does. It's just absolutely amazing stuff.
Even like the so-called smartest people in the world will all be like, these flat earthers are retarded, Us flat earthers know that once a person says that, they're basically just admitting that they either haven't even bothered to look, or they're not smart enough to understand that the math doesn't add up. One of the two things.
You're a blowhard.
It's all bullshit.
A long con.
Maybe this really is a long con.
I think you're on to something.
So I think that your motive can ring true, especially with other situations. They want to beat us down. They want to make us feel like we're insignificant.
They want to make you feel like your life is just an accident, but it's not.
I'm a creationalist. I believe this was created in intelligent design.
For sure.
110%.
Big time. I'm very much in the intelligent design camp.
You have to realize there is a creator and that there is some sort of purpose in life and that we're not just some big bang cosmic accident. We didn't just evolve from pond scum. There's somebody that played play on the record player that put all this stuff in motion. So we need to connect back to that spirituality.
I think you understand the level of deception that goes into these schemes.
We've been living in a matrix. We've been living in an artificial world with artificial history, artificial science this entire time.
More and more it's being proven they're a bunch of damn liars.
We're not the crazy people. You're the liars.
No, they've lied about this. No, they lied about that. They lie about things.
The government lies all the time.
I would rather be thought as a moron for not trusting criminals than a fucking sellout and a traitor for defending them.
That message needs to be resonated here with the facts and the truth every day.
Fires will be kindled to testify that 2 and 2 make 4. Swords will be drawn to prove that leaves are green in the summer.
You're not crazy, they're the liars. With the proof, with the evidence.
You can do the math, guys.
Basic curvature math.
The math is right there. Everyone's, prove you're on a flat plane. Okay, there it is. It's right there. That's the flat, not moving plane. How about you prove you're on a spinning ball?
And it all goes out the window and you realize it's all bullshit.
It's all a lie, folks. It's all a lie.
Yeah, I don't believe any of this crap anymore. It's like mass psychosis.
Wouldn't they do this? Of course they would.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Really don't understand why they cannot wake up, why they cannot see how this works.
Dangerous misinformation, like the earth is flat and that humans have an immune system.
Yes, it's a globe.
Thanks for...
What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think that the earth is flat or do you think it's round? I'm not gonna state my opinion because I'm just not. A lot of you know that I worked for NASA, but I also know that there are a lot of politicians and a lot of attorneys going to court right now because of NASA lying so much. And it is a long con. It even goes all the way back to Carl Sagan. If you look at Carl Sagan, you know, he was one of the pioneers of, you know, these big telescopes like Hubble and all, mainly Hubble, but Carl Sagan was also a part of the Satanic Church with Anton LaVey, you know, where their motto is "Do as thou wilt." So, and so was L. Ron Hubbard from that invented Scientology. So, you know, they all come together, you know, way back then. This is in the 40s or 50s or 60s. I know it was in the 50s and 60s. I'm not sure if it goes back to the 40s, but they were all together. Yeah, it does go back to the 40s, actually. They were all together and all of that. So, you know, there's a lot to actually talk about there. You know, this is not something that is a secret. It's just most people don't know it. But let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? You think it's round? Do you think it's flat? Do you think space is fake? What are your opinions? I really, honestly, truly want to know your opinions.
A temple found in India. It was constructed in 1121 CE. This level of accuracy and detail was achieved 900 years ago, the same time mainstream history claims only primitive tools were available. It's clear that an advanced technology was at play here, and if you can't see that, well, the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. It could have been a form of laser engraving, high-pressure water, or maybe concentrating the sun to form a direct energy tool. These circular pillars inside the temple are almost identical to what you would find doing metal work on a lathe. Or another possibility, it could be done using sound frequency. Look at these 3D sound waves. The resemblance is uncanny. Now look at the pillars. You can't...
Just want to pause real quick. I know you guys see the amazing detail, but one thing that I don't think they say in this video is these sites that they built like this, they can withstand, they have withstood everything in nature. They can withstand earthquakes, tsunamis, there's nothing. These have been up for so many tens of thousands of years, and they're still up. Just think about that. The way they built these. It's incredible.
Say it's not possible. The lathe method seems very likely also. Notice the fine lines that this guy is referencing here. I want to show you one more thing. I can't even begin to imagine how they have managed this. The small heads you can see here have holes through the ears, eyes, nose, and mouth. Meaning that these tiny skulls are hollow. Imagine the difficulty scraping the inside out of a small rock while keeping the outside shape intact like this. Another piece of mind-blowing architecture to come out of India. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and follow at Mike Priest ARR for more content like this.
So that's just wow. I mean, how can you not be in awe looking at that? That is absolutely one of the most awe-inspiring structures on our planet. You know? I mean, the detail, little heads that are hollow with holes through the ears, you know, I mean, it's just, it's unimaginable how they did that, because we can't do it today. And people want to say, you know, no, they were hunter-gatherers, you know, they used rock and chisel, you know, don't be stupid. They did not use a rock and a chisel to do any of that. You know, this is tens of thousands of years ago. So we've been lied to, we've been indoctrinated. All of these things have been happening to us for a while. You know, it's nothing new. It's nothing that they say there's nothing new under the sun, and we keep seeing all of these things that are under the sun coming out. So I think it's beautiful.
About Antarctica, Part 1. Let's have a look at an 1892 map of Earth and how they hide the ice wall from us.
Good evening, everyone. I have a special video for you guys today, and this video is going to show you how they hide the ice wall from the tourists who actually take a tour to supposedly Antarctica. And there's only 2 tour routes from 2 different countries, and you're going to be amazed. Once I went to the original flat earth map from 1892, it was easy to figure out how they do it. I'm going to show you guys. Enjoy the video.
Okay, here we have the flight and cruise route for a tour to Antarctica from Planet Janet Travels. Let me
pause this real quick. One thing I wanted to say on Flat Earth, there was a guy that was going around interviewing people that had gone to school in the 20s and 30s, and they were asking them, of course they were very old, but they were asking them, you know, what were you taught when you were in school? And every last one of them said that they were taught that the earth was flat. They said they didn't ever hear anything about a round earth until the 50s.
zoom in on that a little better where you guys can see it. There we go. Okay. Now, let's switch over to this map of the route so you can see the names. It leaves out of Cape Horn, goes past the South Shetland Islands, along the Antarctic tail, and then back up. Now, this right here would be the South Shetland Islands on the Google Maps. And then, of course, there's the little tail of Antarctica. There's a panned out view for you guys to see it a little better. But pay attention to the tail of that Antarctica. It's going to be really important in a minute. Here's another view of the route. See how it goes along the edge of that tail, and then they turn around and they go back. Okay, now here's where things get interesting. Let's look at the 1892 flat Earth map. Now, this right here is South America, so let's zoom in here where you guys can see this. Now here's the route. There's Cape Horn, where they leave from. And as you can see right down below that, you have the South Shetland Islands. Okay, and then you have the ice wall, of course. But notice this little tail right here? Well, that's the same tail that you see on the continent Antarctica that they show you on the globe, which is pretty slick. But anyways, this little part right here, this is the little area that they travel along and call it the Antarctica, which is only a tiny little bit. So the route goes this way. It goes through the Shetland Islands, comes down through here, past these little islands, and turns around and goes back to Cape Horn. And if you'll notice on this map how the ice wall looks, well, down here where they supposedly tour at, this is the only part of the little ice wall that sticks out in that area. So you'd be stationed there working or take a tour and you would never really see the ice wall. You only see that little piece of it that sticks out because of the rest of Antarctica is off limits. Now let's have a look at the only other tour that you can take to Antarctica, which goes from South New Zealand and back to Tasmania. Now notice, I want you to pay attention to that little Stewart Island there as you leave New Zealand. Notice they go down here to what they call Commonwealth Bay, and then they cruise along a little bit, turn around and go back to Tasmania. Okay, now let's have a look at that route on the flat earth map. Here we have South New Zealand, and notice right there on the other side of it, you see that little Stewart Island that I was telling you guys to look at on the Google map. Okay, so the route leaves here, goes down here, which on this flat earth map it says Disappointment Bay. Remember on the Google Earth map it says Commonwealth Bay, and then they go back, return to Tasmania. So anyways, like I said, they leave here, go along this little bitty tiny bulge that sticks out from the ice wall called Commonwealth Bay, Disappointment Bay, whatever. Notice it's the only part in the ice wall except for the other part that I showed you that bulges out away from the ice wall. So anyways, they go down through here, cruise along a little bit, and then return back to Tasmania. That way you never see the ice wall. You only see that little bulge of it that's sticking out there out of this whole map. Most of this wall is cut out perfectly all the way around except for those two little spots. And they both bulge out, and then they're at the exact same spot at the bottom of both of those countries, just like it shows you on Google Maps. Now, as you can see, it's really, really simple how they pull it off, making you believe that Antarctica is a continent when it's not. That's why it's called the Antarctic Circle, because it's an ice wall, a circled ice wall, all the way around the whole world. And I've had a lot of people say, well, I've had friends that worked there and they didn't see any ice wall, or were stationed there actually, and I'm sure they were stationed there. And even those people just can't wander off and do what they want to. They're kind of like prisoners there. They're stationed at a base, and that's where they remain until it's time to leave. And I'll let them explain that to you themselves.
What do you guys think about that? You think we're not actually seeing the ice wall? Do you guys think that little hump that sticks out is the only part that they're showing us? I absolutely do. I've never been on a tour, but I've seen videos of people that have, and like they say, it's a no-fly zone. Nobody has ever flown over that. So I'd be very curious to see what that is.
One of your last talks, that petroleum wasn't what we thought it was, that it wasn't a fossil fuel, that it didn't come from fossil animals.
Yeah.
Is it just a mineral? Is it a mineral like any other mineral? Is that how it, what would you say? What's the origin of
You see,
petroleum?
when they first found petroleum, because they were beginning to make motors and needed on axles of wheels on railroad trains and all that sort of thing,
And remember, trains started in the beginning of the 19th century. Then oil went from just a lubricant to a fuel, and it made it valuable. And Rockefeller happened to be the smartest man in the business at the time, but he made most of his money, or much of it, off the transport of the petroleum as well as selling it. But one thing they realized was, because oil is putting a price on oil is like putting a price on a pail of water. You know, no initial cost. It's in the ground, and in those days they were, some of it, almost what you'd call surface mining the oil. They didn't go down deep. So in order to get the price up, they hit on the idea that they would have to make it appear to be scarce. That boy, after we take the next few barrels out, we're probably going to have to close as well. You know, that kind of thing. Well, a very fortuitous event. In 1892, there was a convention in Geneva of scientists to determine what organic substances are. Well, the definition of organic is a substance with hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. And so it's usually a living substance, a tree. You analyze a dead tree, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, and grass, and so on, living things. Animals, we are hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. So at this Geneva Convention, Rockefeller took advantage of sending some scientists over who said, oil, petroleum, is hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. Therefore, it must be derived from the spoiling, the rotting of formerly living matter. And playing the game properly, when this scientific convention was over, they defined oil as the residue from formerly living matter. Well, that makes it a fossil fuel. I don't know why they decided to use the word fossil, but it says formerly living matter is fossil. Well, of course, today, and another thing we should know is that there has never been a fossil, a real fossil found below 16,000 feet. And you can't argue at 16,000 as a level line, because someplace the ground sinks and so on. But 16 is what the scientists say, 16,000. We mine oil, or we drill for oil at 30,000, 33,000, 28,000 every day of the week. So right there we rule it out that it isn't fossil fuel. It's called fossil fuel for the minds of the public to feel that it is an asset that is running out, being depleted. We talk about depletion allowance, which is a lot of, you know, and actually if you know the world's oil supply, you know that it is not going to run out for an awfully long time. It is the second most prevalent liquid on Earth, and we haven't begun to dig. Well, with all that background, you see, the people in charge of the petroleum business, for perfectly reasonable business things, like any other man in the business, wants to keep his price as high as he can get away with. And the way to do is just say, well, there's no more. The last barrel is going to cost $1,000, and then it's all done. And they preach that stuff. What bothers me is that in geology books, it's in there. The geologists say it's a fossil fuel. Somehow they've been bought. I mean, I went to a 4-year federal staff energy seminar run by the government of the United States during the so-called energy crisis. I was the participant that represented the railroad industry. The airline industry was there. Every AA, administrative assistant of senators and congressmen, was there. The CIA was there. The Defense Department was there. The State Department was there. Sometimes sitting right in front of me in the row would be Henry Kissinger with his friend, the head of Department of Defense. It's too bad I can't put the names with them. But anyway, people like that, top men in the government, sitting there listening to the Federal Staff Energy Seminar. Well, what this was doing is, for 4 years, they were teaching a propaganda line to the leading people in this country, and therefore to the leading people in the world, when you include the Schlesingers, Kissinger and Schlesinger, among others. And the object of it was, as Kissinger used in his own terms when it was time for him to speak, to create a world price for oil. In other words, not 30 cents a gallon here and 90 cents a gallon there, but let's get a world price. That's their goal, and they're trying to do that for wheat and everything else. We don't realize what the controls are, whether it's oil or some of these other things. Almost everything today is being categorized at the highest price they can possibly make it go. And so calling petroleum a fossil fuel is the basis for this system with respect to petroleum. And I don't know if the name Arthur Kantrowitz rings any bell. Arthur Kantrowitz is the head of the Kantrowitz Labs set up by the Avco company near Boston, scientific laboratories. And a great man in the scientific world. And Kantrowitz and I were sitting at a table at this seminar once, and the table happened to be all young college grad, PhD geologists. And so just to get a conversation started, I turned to Kantrowitz and I said, Arthur, what do you think about this foolishness of these speakers talking about fossil fuel? And it was kind of put up. He started laughing. He said, you know, that gets me. He says, I don't have a geology degree, but he had 1,000 other degrees. And he said, I don't understand. He said, you'd think that these heads, these other fellows at the table, we did it on purpose, start listening, you know. And he asked, he said, are you gentlemen? He says, you're here at the meeting. Are you gentlemen by any chance geologists? And one fellow, yes, I am. And the other one, yeah. He said, well, why don't you tell me? He said, why is oil? You know, and he went on like that. We brought the house down because nobody could argue with Kantrowitz. He like Einstein. People aren't going to. And he told them right there. He said, just drop it. But it's in all the books and in all the papers. But it started from that strange meeting in 1892, a scientific convention. I have a big, thick scientific encyclopedia put out by the Divan Ostrand Company that's about 15 years old now, but it has the whole story of the conference. It doesn't have the Rockefeller part, but it has the whole story of how they straightened out organic chemicals and how it was all figured, and they've got petroleum right in there.
Amazing. Amazing. So
these aren't accidental things, you see. There's a dollar sign behind almost everything.
You hear that? These aren't accidental things. There's a dollar sign behind everything. Everything's got a dollar sign behind it. Greed. Everybody's just so greedy that they've screwed up not only our world, but generations of our world. You know, this stuff goes back to the 1800s, you know, if not further, but definitely to the 1800s. And we're just now starting to wake up. So this is why I put this content out there. I want awareness. I want people to be aware. I want people to know what's going on. You know, don't feed your family this kind of food. Filter your water. Get an osmosis machine. You know, but step by step, get away from what they're trying to do to you all, because it's killing people. You know, it's a meager existence at best. You know, horrible one. You know, where you're on medication, you don't know what you're putting in your body, you can't afford good food, so you're having to buy the bad food, which, you know, the bad food is the cheapest, and that's what people go for. But, you know, protect yourselves, protect your families. That's why I put this stuff out there. I'm gonna go on that one. So I want you guys to think about that. Let me know in the comments, but think about it. This is some powerful stuff. This is good stuff. So I'll see you guys on the next one.